Warm spring days have finally started showing up over here on the East Coast, and there really is nothing quite like the sun shining after a long cold winter to make you feel productive and really excited to do things again. So I decided to take my afternoons this week so I could work on a few things that I've been wanting to or have been meaning to for a while. I was recently given a box of art supplies from someone who was getting rid of them, and I found this box of pastels that had barely been used. Pastels are something that I haven't really had a whole lot of chances to work with before, and it got me really excited because I've really been wanting to work with more color lately, and something that I really want to start working on a little bit more is drawing real life landscapes and still life, because in most cases when I'm drawing, I'm usually drawing from a photograph and not drawing from a real life scenario. So I grabbed a chair, my sketchbook, and my drawing supplies and decided to just sit outside in the sun, feel the warm spring breeze, and draw the landscape that is my backyard. I absolutely love this vintage peacock chair we got a few months ago, and funny enough, it was actually given to us from the same person I got the art supplies from. This truly is a beautiful chair, however, I don't really love the cushion that's on it. I do believe that this is something that somebody has made, so I didn't feel so bad with getting the idea to recover it. Every time I go to the thrift store, I always find different pieces of fabric, and I pick them up if I really like the color or the pattern, because I just never know when I'm going to want to use it. Today, I found a perfect use for this amazing mustard color square of fabric. If I'm being honest, I really don't know the first thing about upholstery, but I just decided to cut down the fabric enough that it would fold over the back, and I chose to use a medium that I'm more familiar with, which is sewing. I chose to leave the original cover intact, not only for the fact that I can remove the yellow cover if I want to later, but also because it gave me something to sew my new cover onto. So slowly I went around in a circle and just sewed the new cover right onto the old one. Since this is a little bit of a slow process, I decided to play an audiobook while I was doing it. The book I'm currently listening to is A Court of Mist and Fury, and let me tell you, it's a seriously addicting read. The excess off and putting the cushion back on the chair, I knew that I made the right move. Not only do I just love the color mustard yellow, it just looks really good on the chair. I feel like it matches the vibe of the chair a lot more than the previous cover, and it gives it much more of a 70s look. On my third afternoon, the weather was a little bit more chilly and the wind had picked up a little bit, so I decided to opt for another indoor project. I picked up this pre-patterned fabric from the thrift store probably about 2 years ago with the intention of making it for spring and summer. However, I had completely forgotten about it, so I decided that today would be the perfect day to finally go through with it. This one is pretty self-explanatory, and the instructions are actually printed right on the fabric, so I decided to just start with number 1 and cut out the apron. The instructions on the fabric stated a couple of different ways that you could finish off the edges of the apron, and I decided to opt for the bias tape option. Just like when I go to the thrift store and find fabric, I'm often looking for baggies of different sewing supplies, and over my countless thrift store trips, I have accumulated a little pile of different colors and sizes of bias tape. So I picked a couple of colors that would go with the watermelon apron and decided to use them to finish off the edges. I'm not 100% sure if this is the legitimate way you're supposed to do this, but what I did was I flipped the bias tape over so that the good sides were facing the good side of the apron, and I pinned it down to hold it in place for easy sewing. headed down to the DIY room and sewed it on there. Once it was on there, I could flip it around, iron it down to make sewing a little bit easier, and then sew it down once again to cover up any raw edges, keep it from fraying, and give it a nice finish. Ended up running out of time on the third day to finish sewing the apron, so I actually finished sewing the trim on day 4. Following step 3 on the apron instructions got a little bit funny. I don't know if it's that I don't really understand sewing terms that well, or if this is just worded really strangely, but I just couldn't really figure out what this was telling me to do, so I decided to just take the reins and finish the apron however I wanted to do it. I used some smaller red bias tape to finish off the edges of the straps, and then I just went ahead and sewed them onto the apron. Finished result is absolutely adorable, and I really do love it. I love watermelon and I love the colors of the print, and I can definitely see myself wearing this the next time I'm cooking something. Honestly, I feel like I don't use aprons for functionality, but I would definitely put this on just for the vibes, just to feel colorful and cute while I'm making dinner or baking something. So I'm honestly really happy with it. I hope that you guys are all enjoying these early spring days and that the warm weather is finding you wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video, and I will see you guys very soon.